Okay, hey everybody, I just want to welcome you to our Boss Babe call tonight. It is Sunday night, July the 14th, and Cleta had called me yesterday and asked me to fill in for her today. She is listening to the call, but she is not feeling well, and it's a struggle for her to talk right now. So she asked me to talk to you guys tonight about time management. And one of the reasons that she probably asked me to do that was it's been a while now, but we were talking one day and I said, you know, my time is very valuable. And so we've laughed about it ever since then, because time management to me is so very important, because when you have a short period of time to work your business, it's even more important for you to really capitalize on that time. So I do have a couple of reminders before we get started with the training tonight. And the first one is that the Preferred Customer Program, the deadline for that is the 17th. So you want to be sure and go ahead and get your customers registered for that. You can even do it tonight when you get done with the call, and you can add more people over the next few days if you have new customers, but you don't want to miss that deadline. This is going to be a very, very important lookbook to get in the hands of your customers. So be sure that you capitalize on that, because the company can send it out so much cheaper than you can do it yourself. And that's just another way to continue layering and capitalize on the resources that the company has for us. So be sure that you get your Preferred Customer Program in by the deadline on the 17th. So one of the things that, as I was kind of preparing for our topic tonight, I thought about the phrase from Socrates, I believe it was, and he said, "Know thyself." And I kind of Googled that, and one of the things that it says about that is knowing others is intelligence, but knowing yourself is wisdom. And I've thought about so many things that I've learned over the years, just in business and in interpersonal relationships and things like that. But you have to know your own strengths and weaknesses, especially where it's concerned with time management. So do you procrastinate? You know, is that one thing that you struggle with? And if it is, it has a name. It's called procrastination, and you have to acknowledge it, and then you have to do something about it. The other one is, do you have avoidance behavior? Do we not do the things that we really need to do to move our business forward because of some reason? I was talking with my unit about this earlier in the week, and I said, do that one thing that you're avoiding doing, because that one thing is probably the thing that's holding you back. You know, whatever that one thing is, figure it out and then fix it, because you do want to do something positive towards that in your business. The other thing that I thought about in knowing yourself is, I know that I have been guilty of this many, many times in many areas of my life, but I call it the but first syndrome. I'm going to do this, but first I'm going to go do this. And I think we, as moms, wives, mothers, business owners, I think we do this a lot just in our home. You know, we're going to go into the office and I'm going to sit down and make booking calls. But first, I saw a cup that was laying on the counter. So I go into the kitchen, and first I'm just going to go ahead and wash that up real quick. Well, then I see something that's laying on the counter that belongs in the bathroom. So before I do my booking calls, I'm just going to go in there into the bathroom and put that up. Well, then when I'm in there, I see another load of laundry that needs to be done. So first I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the wash. And so we do that a lot, and then our time just erodes away from us. And so we really have to kind of know what our triggers are, look and see the things that we do that we catch ourselves doing, and then we need to try to do something about that. So another thing that I thought about is, how many of you constantly have the question, where are we going to go eat dinner? You know, that's one of my time management things is I don't cook. We rarely eat at home. That's not necessarily something I'm proud of, but that's the life that we have. So we spend a lot of time wondering, where are we going to go out to eat? What are we going to eat tonight? And so I was thinking about that, and my husband said, we swear we're going to create an app that's called It Doesn't Matter, and it's going to roll a dice and show you all the restaurants in the area, and it's just going to pick one for you. So it removes indecisiveness. But Mary Kay, one of the smartest time management techniques that you can do is to remove indecision, because it wastes so much time. And Mary Kay was so brilliant when she gave us the tools that she did, as far as the weekly plan sheet, the weekly accomplishment sheet. Some of those tools are so simple that we don't use them. So we avoid doing those disciplinary things that will help us plan our time, because it's just such a simple thing, it shouldn't matter that much. But we really tend to overcomplicate things and not really do the simplest routines that will make us the most effective. So years ago, I used to subscribe to this website. It was called Fly Lady, and I've told people about it many times over the years. But because I learned so much about time management, it was a home cleaning, home organization website. But the things that I took away from that was to look at the things that you avoid doing the most. And in that environment, when I looked at it, it was folding laundry. And for some reason, I just didn't like to do it. I had little kids at that time, and they wore a lot of little clothes that to me just took a long time to fold and do something with. So one day I took their little challenge, and I went and bought a little digital kitchen timer, and they said, time the thing that you hate doing the most, time it, and really see how much time it takes you to do that task. And so, I was just amazed when I did that. And you know how long it took me to fold one basket of clothes? Now, keep in mind, at any one time, at that point in my life, there may have been 3 baskets of clothes piled up in front of my dresser. But it took me all of 2 minutes to fold a basket. So in 6 minutes time, I did all of that work, and then I didn't have to look at it anymore. And so what I learned through that exercise was we avoid doing the things that we don't want to do, but yet that dread every time you walk by and see that it needs to be done, that can be eliminated in just a few minutes time. And so the application for our Mary Kay business is when you have, like I do, this stack of fabulous referral sheets that's been sitting over here today, since I was going to talk on time management, I got on the phone and I started booking some people, because I'm like, that's the one thing that I've avoided doing, was calling some of these people on this list. And so I've already had some good responses for doing that one thing, because I disciplined myself to do that today. So once you put things in a routine, then you don't have to think about it anymore. So tonight, once we get done, what I'd like to do is you give yourself 10 minutes once we get off the Boss Babe call. It's already dedicated Mary Kay time, so give yourself 10 more minutes once we get off the phone, and pull out your weekly plan sheet, pull out your weekly accomplishment sheet. And I know you can do them all online, but there is something very liberating. It's very empowering when you actually write down those sales and you really see it in black and white. And if it's a positive, if it's a good number, it makes you feel so good. If it's not as good a number as what you'd like to see, it shows you what you need to work on this next week. It goes back to that know thyself mentality. So I want you to give yourself 10 minutes and do your weekly plan sheet and the 6 most important things to do. And then straighten your office. All in that 10 minutes time, put everything up. If you've got some stuff scattered on your desk, get that 10 minutes done. That was part of the Fly Lady concept, was she said, shine your sink every night before you go to bed. That way, when you come in and look at it the next day, you've got a shiny sink. I equate that in Mary Kay with clean off your desk. And I'm preaching to the choir, because I'm going to do that myself once we get off this phone. But now let's look at really how much time. When you look at your weekly plan sheet, the number of hours that you have in the day are really more than what you think. And one of the other reasons that she asked me to talk on this tonight was I do have another very full-time job. It's a very stressful, all-encompassing job, and I have a 2-hour commute. So 3 days a week I have a 2-hour commute. 2 days a week I'm able to work from home. But it's 50 to 60 hours a week that's just blocked off of my plan sheet. That's already that I can't do. So, but for the average person, there's 168 hours in a work week, or in a week. So of that, you take off 40 hours for your full-time job. And those of you that don't have a full-time job, you've got even more time that you can work with. If you get 8 hours of sleep, take away 56 hours from that 168. Then we all need about an hour to get up, get showered, get cute, look our best. So that's another 7 hours in the week. Some of you may be quicker than me, but I got to have my 7 hours. Then your commute time. Most people don't have as long of a commute, or a lot of people don't have as much of a commute as I do. But, it's going to take you 15, 30 minutes. So we'll account for 30 minutes of a commute time. So that's 5 hours a week extra. And then family time. you need to count family time too. So that's another 21 hours in the day or 21 hours in the week. So that's 3 hours a day, or it might be, if you're doing a Mary Kay party on a weeknight, then you're going to have extra time during the weekend for your family. So give 21 hours of that week to family time. So once you take all of that from your original 168 hours, you still got 39 hours remaining. So one of the most important things to me on the weekly plan sheet is to show you the time not to work Mary Kay. Because especially I think as a sales director, it's very hard not to think and be dwelling on either what I need to be doing or who I need to be calling. You need that time to turn it off a little bit. When you have another job, it's easy to, sign out, drive out of that parking lot, and then you don't have to think about it anymore. But when your business is in your home, that weekly plan sheet kind of lets you off the hook. It tells you when to kind of clock out from your Mary Kay work. So, for example, you need to remember to clock in for your Mary Kay and out for your Mary Kay. And I wanted to show you a picture of, I went ahead and did my weekly plan sheet, and maybe you can see it. So like with me, you've got all these X's. And for those of you that work full-time, your plan sheet may look very similar to this. And so like all this is time that I cannot work my Mary Kay business. I cannot really talk about Mary Kay on my job. I really have to it requires all of my time and attention. But I've got during my commute time, I have a couple of consultants that are accountable to me, and we have little accountability calls, and it may just be a 5-minute phone call, but I'm talking to them twice a week, and I've got more time filled in that I can do that. I've got my church time scheduled off. I've got the Boss Babe call in here. The new calls with Donald and Sweeney, I've got that penciled in for Saturday mornings. But see, I've got highlighted in pink, I've got this other time, like I've got a 30-minute lunch, which I can stretch it out if I need to and work a little bit more in the afternoon. But I can make calls during that time. I can make calls on my drive home. It's hard to kind of write down in my date book, so I have to kind of, work around that. I may be calling consultants back, or, they use my Voxer, and so I may be Voxing back and trying to answer questions and things. But this really shows me, like Friday night is my date night. My husband and I, it will be a very, like no other time that I can facial somebody, for me to facial somebody on a Friday night, because that's typically our time. Friday and Saturday nights, really. And then my other time is Sunday afternoons. I have to really have no other option for me to book a party at 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, because Friday night's for my husband. Sunday afternoon is for me, because I take a nap on Sunday afternoons. If you call me, my phone is going to be down, but I need that. When I work the schedule that I do, that's important to me. And so I've got that penciled in. So your weekly plan sheet is very, very important, because it helps you know when your on time is and when your downtime is. So when you are on and you're working your Mary Kay business, are you working your Mary Kay business? Because when you go to your other job, how much time are you spending while you're on your other job scrolling on Facebook? And I don't have to see a show of hands to see who else may be guilty of just checking a notification real quick and then spending 20 minutes scrolling while you're supposed to be doing your booking calls. I think we're all probably guilty of that, so it's okay. Honest confession is good for the soul. But really look at, do you sabotage your Mary Kay work time doing things that you wouldn't sabotage your other job on? And so that's one thing that I want you to really think about, so that you can focus on that time. Your Mary Kay time really needs to be focused on your Mary Kay. The other thing is when you're looking at overall time management, is what can you delegate? Like I said, I very, very rarely cook. It's not that I don't like to cook. I prefer to eat my own cooking, but that's one thing that I delegate. We go out, we whatever. But what is it in your life that you need to delegate to free up time that you can do income producing activities in your business? So really, because really you can make enough in one party to pay someone to clean your toilets and change the sheets on your bed. That's not something that I necessarily enjoy either. So those are things that you can definitely, it gives you an incentive when you created a debt essentially for yourself, because you can then turn around and I know I need to make that money if I'm going to be paying somebody to do those things for me. The other thing about time management is really focus your efforts. So try to bundle like activities together. Like when you're sitting down to do your booking calls, you want to be organized about that so that you can just do it one after another, because sometimes it takes a little bit of courage to pick that phone up. I don't know why these little 8-ounce things tend to weigh a ton sometimes, but they really do. So sometimes you have to build up your courage. So go ahead and have a whole list of things to do at one time and carve out that uninterrupted time. And I know I'm in a different place in my life than some of you because, I'm living in a home with 2 other adults. My adult son lives with us, my husband, but I've done Mary Kay when I had little kids too. I've done it at all levels. I've been in for over 20 years. So, it can work. This plan and the system works no matter where you are in your life. But if you focus your efforts, then it does help you churn through it and be more productive. The other thing is talk quickly. When you're on the phone doing your booking calls, talk quickly, because when you're respecting their time, I think they respect your time as well. And so you can have definitely have a mirror in front of you so that they can hear your smile through the phone. But when you're like, hey girl, I'm so excited, I've got to do it. And like my booking script today was, I've got to do 40 faces in the next 2 weeks because I'm going to be going out of town. And so I was wondering, is there any way we can get together this week? And, then you go on through the regular booking script. But when you talk quickly, they know you have a big goal. They know you've got to get things done. And honestly, they're probably trying to watch something on Netflix. So they know that you're not interrupting their time for very long either. The other thing I wanted to talk about was to redirect things. Like when you jump in, and this is really more for directors and recruiters, because it's a problem that I have. I actually have it in my professional life. In my other job, I have a lot of people that call me and ask a lot of things. I'm kind of the person that when they can't figure something out, they come to me and I help them figure it out. So I have it makes me feel good to be the answer person. I mean, I enjoy that. I like having the answers. I like being helpful. I like being able to tell people what they need to do. But in our Mary Kay business, sometimes, and in a lot of areas of our life with our children as well, when you tend to just give those answers immediately, it's not developing leadership in the people that are in your unit. Or like if you give the answer immediately, they don't have to go to any other resource. And honestly, it can become exhausting for you. So you need to help teach them how to, give them the number 1-800-270, give them the number to Mary Kay for some things. If it's an in-touch problem and you're not necessarily as tech savvy, or in my case, I'm unavailable for 8, 9, 10 hours straight in a day. I don't want them waiting on me to get an answer about in-touch. I'm like, hey, here's the number, call Mary Kay. They've got a whole staff of people to answer that for you. And so that's how you can help develop leaders too, by not taking on all of everyone's problems. So that's just a little tip for directors and recruiters as well. We can exhaust and waste all of our time trying to be that answer person for someone else, but really we need to equip them with where to get those answers to. And then for consultants, I wanted to give you this advice because you really need to try to organize your communication when you need to reach up to your director, because they will respect it and appreciate it. For example, there are times that I may box cleater or something like that, but I really try to have a list of things. I don't want to just call about every little thing. I want to call and say, hey, this is the problem I'm having, or what do you think about this? But I'll usually have 2 or 3 or 4 bullet points that I want to cover, because her time is valuable. And, she's got 5 offspring directors. She's got 200 plus people in her unit. And I know she cares about me. I know she wants to answer my question, but I need to be respectful of that as well. So, and that's, if we can kind of all agree to do that for each other, then that's just another good time management technique for all of us, no matter if you're the one asking the questions or the one that's giving the answers. And then the other thing is group your information together. There are so many systems available to you for all the things that we have to do. The good thing about our business is that it's simple and it's replicatable. So the same script, the same booking script can be used for pretty much any situation. You might have to edit out a couple words. So when I was doing my booking calls earlier today, and the people that I try to book on the phone first, but if I can't get them on the phone, then I'm going to follow up with a text message. So that text message, I copy from my notes. I may edit the name. If I'm working a fabulous referral sheet, I'll go ahead and change that person's name in the information I'm copying from. That way, it's just copy, paste right into the next person's text message that I need to send if I didn't get them on the phone. So you do want to make these things replicatable, and you want to make it to where it's very simple for you to use. There's Evernote is an app that you can use. I use just a color note app. It's a very simple list app that you can use. But there's also things like Trello that to help you keep up with a lot of different things. But there's so many different ways that you can do it. But I'll tell you, even though I have a lot of those automated systems, what I'm using right now, I just kind of went back to it. I kind of went old school. I got me a 3-subject notebook several months back. The first section is my customer leads, facial leads, and interview, recruit lead, prospect leads. And I just keep a running list of the names and who I'm working with and when I texted them, that kind of thing. The second section is all the boss way, all the training that I've had. That way I've got it right here and I can refer to it. I also have this one notebook so that anything that I need to ask Cleta or I need to talk to one of my consultants about, like the people that I'm doing these accountability calls for every week, I'm jotting down the things that I want to ask them about, or if they told me that, this is what they had going on this week, then I'll jot that down when we're talking, so that way I know what to ask them about when we talk again. And so you want to make the time that you have together concise and effective for you. And then my third section in my old school notebook right now is my prayer journal. Because one of the other things that's on my weekly plan sheet is I have a 7 o'clock Monday morning call with some prayer sisters. And we're actually going through the Experiencing God book. We've been doing it since February, I think. And we've just been going through it like a chapter a Monday. And, there have been a couple of Mondays that we weren't able to do it, but it has helped to discipline me to go through that. And then we can share prayers, we can share different things. So it's just find whatever works for you and do it. But don't spend a lot of time picking one. Just pick one and go for it. You can try it, and then, it could be automated. It could be a spiral notebook, whatever you want to do. Just pick something and go with it and see, because you can always change it, tweak it. If it doesn't work in 2 months, I would give it a good 2 months on any system, just because you want to give it time to see if it's going to work for you as you cycle back through some of your leads. But I'm also reading several other leadership books. And so that's another thing that I encourage you to put in your weekly plan sheet is put your personal development time. The time that you're going to either, do a Bible study with someone, or the time that you're going to, I've got 2 different leadership books that I'm reading right now, and I just ordered another one. And I've just got a stack of them by my nightstand, and I'm just going through them. And the other thing is I keep a pen. I highlight the thing. I don't have time to read these books again, so I go ahead and underline the things in there that speak to me. But you need to, leaders are readers. And, some people can do audiobooks too. For me, I'm a visual learner, so I like to see the actual written documents and highlight or underline things. But you've got to be able to close yourself off for success, be it your personal development time, your Sunday afternoon nap because your body needs to be rejuvenated. It could be your in the times that you need to do those income producing activities. Kind of like, I don't have to worry about Sunday nights at 9 o'clock. My family, you saw me wave a minute ago. My son just came in. He just came in quietly and waved goodnight. My family knows Sunday nights at 9 o'clock, I'm talking about Mary Kay, and it's getting my week, going in the right direction. They know on Monday nights, I'm holding a meeting, doing a party, I'm doing Mary Kay on Monday nights. And once you remove those, when you just put it in a pattern, in a routine, then that just helped me. I don't have to think about what time I'm going to get up in the mornings, because I get up and I go to work every single day. I don't have to decide, am I going to get up at 6 o'clock today or not? No, I am. I'm getting up that time. I'm getting ready. I even have the same routine if I'm working at home or if I'm working an hour away. When I'm working from home, I just get to start an hour earlier because it keeps me in that same pattern. And you need to approach your business the same way, because we are the president and CEO of our own company. So would you be surfing on Facebook on company time? Probably not. Would you be, getting up and cleaning your dishes and washing a load of clothes on your company time? No. So we've got to set those times and use this weekly plan sheet. And the best thing about it is when you do it 10 minutes after we get off the call tonight and you've got a weekly plan sheet, honestly, you can use the same one week after week after week after week. I know Monday nights I'm going to be doing facials, trying to get guests to my meeting. My personal preference is to do Thursdays and then Saturday mornings and some Saturday afternoons if I need to. But those are the times. And the beauty of that is when you have a set weekly schedule that you do not defer from. I mean, if it's a vacation, yeah, that's something you can do to alter it a little bit. But when you just make up your mind, these are the times that I'm going to be open for business. Then when you're out and about, you're scheduling people, you're meeting people, say, oh, well, see, I always do facials at 10 o'clock or at my house on Saturday. So if you're booking an individual instead of somebody that's not going to do a party for you, you book them all together at the same time at your home when it's convenient to you. That way, if there is just one, you haven't packed up and loaded your stuff and driven, all this time to get somewhere. You're doing it at your home where it's convenient for you, and you're working your business instead of your business running you. And so now I'm going to talk about some of the practical steps to kind of got a little bit ahead of myself too, but the weekly plan sheet is really functional. And I tell you, when you discipline yourself to just do it and live by it, it just simplifies your life. The other thing is the MK mobile learning app. I've just recently found out about that, but that's the other part of nourishing your soul, nourishing your entrepreneurial spirit, is be listening to that. Somebody was asking me today at lunch after church what app I used on my phone for music, and I'm like, sorry, I can't help you with that. I don't really even listen to music. I mean, and I love music. I sing at church, all this kind of stuff, but I'm listening to Mary Kay CDs or Mary Kay downloads all the time. If I'm not talking with consultants or talking with my mom, I do talk to her every morning on the way to work too. But if I'm not talking to someone, I'm listening to Mary Kay, because that's just what I do. And I don't even think about it. And it just continually lets me put those things in my mind. And so with the Mary Kay learning app, you can be listening to Mary Kay things every time you're in the car. Those just use your time wisely. It's so important. And honestly, I think it's a little bit harder for people that do Mary Kay full time to figure out how to get it all in their schedule sometimes than people like me that have such a short period of time to work their business, because that but first syndrome, I think, can tend to be more prevalent because you have more time to fill it in. And I've seen that more so with new team members than I do directors, because, directors of, they're running their business, but with new team members, it's easier for me to take somebody that works full time and show them how to put Mary Kay in the small bits of time that they have than it is for somebody that's a stay-at-home mom that doesn't work outside the home. That's just been my experience, and maybe it's because I can relate to them a little bit more, but it's easier sometimes to fill up those small times because they can be more focused attention than someone that has all the time in the world and they keep thinking they're going to get to it. So whatever your situation is, simplify your plan and then replicate it, because you can just do the same plan over and over again. And I want to talk a little bit too about the 6 most important things to-do list. And you need to be doing those. And for me, it's very helpful to do it the night before. Again, it kind of goes back to that shining your sink, cleaning off your desk before you go to bed, because when you can just kind of put those thoughts, all those to-do lists, because my brain is constantly going. I'm constantly thinking about all the things that I need to do, should do, want to do, dream about doing. And so when you put it down on paper, or I use that little color note app, but when you put it down there, and for me, it's I love to check things off a list. I love to check it off and see that done. For me, that just gives me that little mental sense of accomplishment. But you want to go straight down the list and tackle those things that are the hardest first, because there again, you don't want it to get to the end of the day and you procrastinated and hadn't done them. Now, when I talk about a 6 most important things to do, I want to tell you what it's not. What a 6 most important list is not: call Susie, call Sally, call Sharon, pack for my party. Those are not, to me, what a 6 most important things to-do list. It should be activity-based, what you can control, because a tracked number grows. And one of the things, you may need to look at weekly targets of what you want to accomplish and then break that down into what your daily targets need to be. I've always liked Gloria Mayfield Banks. We all live in the same zip code, 52631. So if you're struggling and want to know kind of what should I put on my 6 most important things to-do list, one of the things that Gloria always said was 5 new names a day. So, and that can be referrals at a party. It can be out meeting new people, whatever it needs to be. And so like if you want to get 5 new names a day, say you have 2 or 3 parties booked that week, but your goal is, what's that, 5 times 7, 35 new names in a week. You can get that at one party, honestly, and get caught up and get ahead. But you do want to be meeting new people as you go out. Some people, that's harder than it is with others. I'm telling you, it's easier for me now, but early on, that was very difficult for me to just go up and turn a conversation into Mary Kay. But it does get easier the more that you do it. And so meeting new people should be just part of your normal routine. But Gloria always said to get 5 new names a day, 2 new bookings. So that could be a new facial, a new party, whatever. It doesn't have to be, because we know the averages are only half are going to hold, or you book 8 to hold 5. So you want to be continually getting new bookings, and it could be from those same 5 people. Say you met somebody in line at the restaurant, and you go ahead and book her for the next day for a facial. That's perfect. That's got one of your names and one of your bookings. That's how do you want to approach that. The 6 of the zip code is $600 in sales a week. The 3 is 3 face-to-face interviews a week. And here again, that's part of those bookings. One of those 2 bookings a day could be a new interview for you to hold. So 3 face-to-face interviews a week, and then 1 weekly accomplishment sheet. And I also added 1 weekly plan sheet. But like I said, you don't have to do the weekly plan sheet every single week. You just do 1, and that establishes your working routine with some minor tweaks every now and then. The other thing that I really recommend is to get one of those digital kitchen timers. I went and looked for mine just before the call to show you, but they're a few dollars at Walmart. But a digital kitchen timer, to me, it really, really changed my thought process and time management when I was doing that years ago. And it forever changed me, to make me realize just how little time it took for me to do some of the things that I'd been avoiding. And so if you will use that timer when you're doing your booking calls, and don't let your booking calls get more than 3 minutes. So set that timer, so that way you can watch that number going up, and just it helps you become a master of your time. And same thing with cleaning your office or putting up your inventory if you don't have somebody that helps you do that. Seriously, I make it a game. I'm very competitive, and so I make it a game of how quick I can do something. Because I also believe, I see it at work, I see it with employees, I see it that you can make your work stretch to your day, or you can do massive action and get things done really quickly. I'm always amazed at what I can do the last 30 minutes of the day, because I've allowed distractions the rest of the day with everybody calling me and asking me questions and that kind of stuff. And then it's like sucked my whole day. And then I haven't got the things that were on my priority list. And so that last 30 minutes, it's usually after 5 when everybody else is already kind of leaving and I've got the office to myself, that I can really churn through some things and get things accomplished. And that same mindset needs to happen with us in our businesses. We really need to treat it like the business that it is. And, you know, when I look at taking off time from my 40-hour-a-week job to do Mary Kay, because I do that occasionally. I do it whenever I can. I take off a few hours on a Thursday afternoon if I've got a party that night, and then I go ahead and do some other things to really help me. You know, I'll take off and then go and meet new people, whatever. But I'm so focused because I'm like, I know what I make per hour, and I've got to do income-producing activities in my mind, even though it's vacation time and all that kind of stuff, and it's not really costing me. I know what that time is worth. And I want us to realize as Mary Kay consultants and directors what your time is really worth. Because you can do a party, spend 2 hours, let's just say 3 hours. By the time you pack up, get there, unpack when you get home, 3 hours, and you sell $300 to $1,500. And then calculate what your hourly rate is. And then I want you to back that down to how many booking calls did you have to do in order to get that party to be able to make that anywhere from $150 to $750 profit that night. So how many calls does it take to do that? And so I really want you to do your weekly plan sheet, but then start tracking your numbers. You know, track your numbers and just do a little tally sheet even of booking calls, parties held, sales. Because the one other thing, if you see your numbers are really disproportionate, then you can say, what do I need to tweak about my booking script? What can I do to generate and have a conversion rate, a better conversion rate to convert calls to bookings to customers? And so it all, time management and, you know, just overall organization just goes hand in hand. And so the digital kitchen timer really helps because it helps you get through those calls quicker. But then you also just need to set up that dedicated time on your weekly plan sheet to be able to carve out that time. Like for me, it's Sunday afternoons. I take my nap, I get up, and then I try to get in here and start booking and doing my booking calls. And then I also try to do it sometimes, you know, during my lunch periods at work. So you kind of have to do it at different times at different times of the day for different people, depending on who you're going to, because they work and that kind of thing too. But you just want to plan your work and work your plan. So find creative ways to minimize the distractions and to reward yourself for doing the work that you need to do to be successful in this business. One thing I had written down was if you don't manage your time, it will slip right through your hands. But in Mary Kay, you're the president and CEO of your own business. So you are, if you're listening to this call, you are one of our boss babes. And so you just want to really make a decision tonight to say, I am a boss babe and I am in control of my time. My time is not controlling me. All these other distractions are not controlling me. I'm going to take charge of my business and run it like the successful CEO that I am. I get several different leadership emails and things like this, and this one actually came into my office, but it had a heading of act as if. It says, act the way you want to become, and you will become the way you act. And you know, everything that I get as far as leadership from other sources, I always equate it back to Mary Kay, because I remember when I was a brand new consultant 20-something years ago, we would be up in the meeting and we'd be singing, act enthusiastic, and you'll be enthusiastic. And we started out slow and we get faster and faster. And then it was, you know, we were all pumped and we were so enthusiastic by the time we got done singing that little song. But Mary Kay was really so brilliant to give us the tools that we have and for all the training that we have. You know, the weekly plan sheet is so basic, but it is so simple, and it will make such a big difference in your business if you just establish that. That way you know when you need to clock into your business, and when you clock into your business, you need to get rid of the distractions and do the things that you need to do to really be successful at your business. Act like the boss babe. with your time, and you will be paid just like a boss babe. So I hope that this helps some of you, and I hope that once we get off the phone that you really will take a few more minutes tonight and really chart your course, because I want you to have a fantastically successful July, because this is where we're starting the brand new seminar year. So we're going to also now listen to a few of our directors. So Rosie, you are first on my screen, so let me unmute you real quick. So do you have any thoughts that you want to share? Hold on. Rosie, can you unmute yourself? I'm having a little trouble. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can. Go ahead.
All right. LaRie, thank you so much. I took some notes. A lot of the things you mentioned were things that I was also going to mention, so great minds think alike. But I think we both have pretty good senior directors that we've learned from. Just a couple things that I kind of had down, and they're kind of like some of the things you talked about, but when you talked about treating your Mary Kay business as a business, one of the things that I've learned, if somebody postpones or, cancels, don't just take that time and do nothing. You're still on the clock. You're still on that Mary Kay clock. So get on the phone and sell something, or book someone, do something. Don't just let that lie. Another thing, and you talked about different phases of your life. My children are grown. However, I am watching my 5-year-old granddaughter and 7-month-old grandson during the day. So in many ways, I know I don't have them 24/7, but in many ways, I feel like I'm one of those kind of like a stay-at-home mom now in a way. And so I have to be really, really strategic with how I plan my time. And, I have my husband to kind of piggyback or, help with that. But, I have to be very, very strategic. One thing that I do at night, and also during the day, if my granddaughter wants to do something with me, I make sure to use time, like TV time or playtime or whatever. She's old enough now, she can help me organize my bag. She can help put labels on products. Well, sometimes they're upside down, but most of the time it's pretty good. Use that time with your family to do things that you kind of like multitask, like cleaning mirrors, things like that. Getting guests to, or prospective team members to event is so important, because like you said earlier, you're taking care of more than one thing at a time. Another thing you talked about is listening to educational tapes, or I guess that dates me. YouTube, whatever you listen to the $1 Million Message. I very rarely, I'm like you, I love, love, love music. I hardly ever listen to the radio anymore. I usually have something else going on. That's just kind of become my life lately, well, the last few years. If you are someone who is still working, take stuff, and this is going to depend on your job, but take stuff at work to demo. If you can't actively, pursue that, just have stuff out on your desk. People will notice, they come up, hey, what's this stuff? So try to work that way. The other thing, and what I mean, can you still hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I mean by that is, okay, this is going to sound dumb, but like my car washed a couple days ago, and while I was in the car wash, I was texting people, so it's kind of multitasking at those moments that you have a few extra minutes. Don't let those minutes be idle moments. Just take advantage of that time. So anyway, thank you for all your ideas, and I think you're spot on the things you talked about. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Rosie. Nina, I'm trying to unmute you, but if you, I may need you to unmute yourself though.
Can you hear me?
There you go. Now we can hear you.
Awesome. So you gave such great information. There's not a whole lot that I can really add to the both of what you said. I always tell my girls, you're the boss at night, you're the employee during the day. So if your boss gave you a list of tasks to do, you expect it to be done. So you need to treat yourself as if you're an employee during the day and have a list for your stuff to do. My kids are older as well. So for instance, right now we're in a hotel. So we don't have anything, and then I'm going to turn around and leave for seminar next week. So I'm going to pay my kids to put my product up and set my office. So if you do have old enough kids that can help you with your business, let them help. Give them a few dollars to just help. My kids are just happy to receive anything. They may be wanting an Xbox game or something. Bribe your kids to help you. They have friends. Reach out to them. Bribe your husband. Have him help you as much as possible. But, you know, you do have to set time aside for your family. So I really love what you said about that, and I will make a better effort of doing that. But yeah, we have to work as a team. So, you know, the husband and the kids, we're all a family. And so what I do, and the money that I'm able to bring in, that benefits them. So it's like, hey, let's work together so that way you can have all the things that you want. My daughter wants to dye her hair pink, and that's going to be expensive. So if you want to dye your hair pink, this is what mom needs done before I get back from seminar. So that way I can run my business successfully as soon as I get back.
All right. Thank you so much. Great to meet you too.
Nice meeting you as well.
Okay, we did have, and just for those of you that may have joined a little bit late, I was going to just reiterate that Cleta is sick. She is on the call, but she is not able to really speak tonight. So we will miss her, and please keep her in your prayers. Thayla, I was trying to unmute you, but Cleta logged in first, so I'm not. Okay, there you are. I think you're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
What a great call, LaRie. Thank you for all of your suggestions and the overview. It was just really, you covered everything so well, along with Rosie and Nina. What I would like to add is, or just reemphasize, is the importance of the weekly plan sheet, and for me, the 6 most important thing to do list. I have a spiral notebook that I just write everything I can possibly think of down at night in that notebook. And typically I think there is no way I can get this done. But like you said, the next morning I get up and I start on the most important things, and it does not take half the time. Normally I say to myself, what was I thinking when I made this list? Because at night, you're courageous and you're writing everything down and every person that you might ever want to talk to. And then the next day I'm like, oh my goodness. But it does help me achieve. And on the days that I don't do the list at night, those days just seem to slip by, and 4 or 5 o'clock comes along and I'm like, what have I done today? And not accomplished much of anything. So like you said, the written word is so important, to write it down and just cross it off the list. And that one thing alone, along with the weekly plan sheet, will revolutionize your business. So thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I think I can't find Latrice on the list, but if I don't see her phone number, but unless she's one that just says iPhone. Do we have any other directors on the phone? If you are, you can unmute yourself. Okay. Thank you all. Cleta, if you'll stop the recording and then just unmute everyone, then we'll see if anybody else has anything else to add. Thank you all for participating tonight, and for those of you that'll listen later, really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us, and just wish you all the success this week for your business.